Oh, yeah! Your boy is back in the motherfucking building. Hey, bro, they thought I was going to start this off like that LL Cool J joint back in the 80s where he came in. He was like, oh, what was it? I'm bad. That joint. They thought I was
that was the joint.
Like that. No rapper can rap quite like I can. I take a muscle-bound man and put his face in the sand. They thought I was going to say that.
I'll make it go LL and do the what?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They thought I was going to say that shit. Nah. What's good, everybody? It's your boy 2K, and I'm joined with my man, Bo. Mr. Actual. Let's say his name. Actually, Garrison. Bo. Hey, look. I got to say your name like that, fam. Your name is all over, 300-something plus articles on 3kingsboxing.com.
This is very true.
Yeah, they know who you are by now, dog. So, I mean, hey, we can't hide it. I'm EJ Williams, your host. You know, if y'all watch the Max Kellerman interview and any other interviews, actually, where I'm saying my name, you would know my name is EJ. I'm the owner of 3kingsboxing.com. Of course, you can easily go on the page there, check out the team page, and see EJ Williams, the owner. You know what I'm saying? So, but y'all motherfuckers call me 2K. This is Prodigy of Boxing Talk on YouTube. Y'all call me 2K. You hear me? All right. Let's go ahead and start off. This is episode 6 of Boxing Talk with 3 Kings. We actually have 5 episodes on Blog Talk Radio. We actually got more episodes on Bo's Truth and Facts Sports Talk on his channel. But we've moved all around, started on YouTube, moved back to Blog Talk Radio, had some issues over on Blog Talk Radio. Now we're back on YouTube on my channel. So this will start episode 6 of Boxing Talks with 3 Kings. And the topic of the night will be Mr. Regis Prograis, #1 seed of the WBS Junior Welterweight Tournament, is contemplating withdrawal from the WBSS simply because the same reason why Ryan Martin's manager is pissed off after losing to Josh Taylor in the first round, the same reason why Ivan Baranchyk actually pulled out, and then when the WBSS said, "Okay, hold on, man, hold on, don't leave just yet. We're gonna schedule your bout with Josh Taylor in May. I think it was May 19th. We're gonna schedule it." And then he said, all right, I'll come back. You know what I'm saying? Same reason why those two were complaining is the same reason why Regis Prograis is contemplating leaving. #1, of course, financial reasons. Everybody pretty much knows that the WBSS is having financial reasons. They're not paying, or financial issues. They're not paying their fighters. That's #1. #2 is his inactivity. Regis Prograis is a guy that likes to fight frequently throughout the year. And right now he's very inactive and it's pissing him off. It's pissing the team off. So they're like, listen, man, we about to get up out of here if y'all don't give me my money and give me my date to fight WBA champion Kiro Relic. Hey, Bo, man, you're pretty close to Regis Prograis. You guys have a more than just a journalist to fighter relationship. You guys are pretty good friends. What do you think about this situation, man?
Well, first off, man, I would love to see him finish this tournament because you got a guy in Regis who pretty much nobody knew. He was in obscurity 140 because as long as Terrence Crawford there. Then once Crawford left, 140 became wide open. And Regis is the odds-on favorite as people look at it as possibly being the next person to become undisputed in that weight division. So he has an opportunity to grab 2 belts. Which, of course, if he fights Relic, he'll grab that WBA belt. Then if he winds up fighting Baranchyk, he'll grab that IBF belt. Then, of course, the matchup between him and Josh Taylor, who is also being looked at as possibly the next big thing. So you had 2 of the top guys who's looked at as people, seen as probably, that can take over that division. Of course, when you have the Maurice Hookers, then you have the Jose Ramirez, right? We know that, right? Yep. But we're talking about these are 2 of the other top guys outside of them that people were looking at like, hey, man, these guys could take over the division. So that opportunity for him to be able to go from being this question mark to a unified champion and fighting the fights that we want to see, which, of course, Regis wants them fights also. If you go to the interview that we had at 3 Kings Boxing and 2K, he'll tell you, his own words, he said, man, Josh Taylor is a bad motherfucker. Okay,
yeah, sure did.
He says that, hey, he said, I ain't gonna lie, Josh Taylor's a bad motherfucker, okay? Those were his words. So for him to be able to fight a guy in Josh Taylor, a guy in a Relic, a guy in Ivan, what's the guy named Baranski. That's like, when you look at your guys and you measure their talent, you measure what their worth is, that's something special because he'll fight probably 3 out of the 5 or 6 top dudes in that division. And that's what you want to see early in his career is these guys have these kind of fights. So for him to be frustrated, pull out, and Regis is the type of guy, he is hood in the aspect of if you owe him something, you better give him what the fuck you owe him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't play them kind of. I remember we was talking about the whole Twitter thing, and he thought it was real out there, and he thought him and his boys were going to have to scrap when they went to California, and he was like, we got them, man, they was treating us nice. So he said, because I don't really do that Twitter beef and shit. So he thought it was going to be some, something to go on.
All right.
So he's just one of them dudes, man, that he loved the sport of boxing. He likes fighting. He likes being active. And he also likes for you to live up to your word. If you say you're going to do something, do that. So for you not to pay him, then not have a fight, not to have his fight ready, then not to pay him, oh, he's doubly pissed.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's doubly pissed because, he's one of them dudes who is okay and nice and cordial, but if you piss him off, you don't want to see that dog.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just like this, man. I gotta support a man that's all about his money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Everything we do on a daily basis, not only to better yourself as a person, but to make a living. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And making a living is one of the most important assets, and actually, staying alive, being able to take care of your family, being able to take care of your duties as a man or a woman, right?
Agreed.
So I can't knock the man because he wants his money. But at the same time, if I'm talking from the perspective of a fan of the sport, I would love for this guy to just hang in there, you know what I'm saying, keep his head and see through, the issues so we can get that big ass fight. You know what? The winner of Baranchyk, Josh Taylor is a great fight. It doesn't even have to be Josh Taylor, fam. If Ivan Baranchyk beats Josh Taylor, that's an excellent fight as well.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So either one of those guys, I believe Regis dog walks the shit out of Kuro Relic. So when he's in the finals against either one of those two guys, man, it's an excellent fight.
Yes.
So I'm trying to see that shit as a fan of the sport, but man to man, I understand, his problem, or his issue, his conflict with the WBSS, and I can't knock it. So it is what it is, man. Whatever he decides, Regis doesn't seem like the type of guy. After talking to him, and Bo knows him much more than I do anyway. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to duck anybody.
No.
No. So if he pulls out of the WBSS, that doesn't mean that he won't fight a Josh Taylor or Ivan Baranchyk somewhere down the line. He's actually trying to go after that Jose Ramirez fight because that's where he was trying to go before he was in the WBSS. They almost had that deal set, but Jose Ramirez, something with his team, from what Regis said, they decided not to go with it, so he jumped into the WBSS. You know what I'm saying? So, that fight was already on his mind, so he's not going to be ducking anybody. And then he's also heard about Maurice Hooker talking about him. He said he'll take that fight in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? So he's not in the business of ducking anybody. So at the end of the day, if he pulls out of this tournament, it won't be a bad thing because he'll end up fighting. He'll end up bringing us the fights that we want. But the fact that he's in the tournament and 2 possible great matchups are already there for him in his next fight, I kind of want him to do that. Also, I was telling Bo the other day that if Regis stays in the tournament, he will effectively go from being a cat who's just a contender with a silver title or whatever he has to being a fucking unified champion if he wins the tournament. You see what I'm saying? And just 2 fights. If he beats Relic, I believe he'll be upgraded to WBA Super because I think that title is vacant at junior welterweight. He'll be upgraded to WBA Super, and then he'll face the winner of Ivan Baranchyk, Josh Taylor, which will be the IBF champion.
Yeah.
So they'll unify, and that will be in the finals. So he'll go from being a contender to a unified champion in just 2 fights if he stays in the tournament. So I think he's weighing those options, and and his manager states that Regis doesn't want to pull out. But of course, they're going to do what is the most effective. They're going to make the most effective play that's good for his future and his family. So, I wish him well, and hopefully he can get all worked out, man.
To add to your point, they have to elevate him to WBA super, because what people tend to don't know is that certain organizations will not have unification matches with the regular title. That's the reason why when them guys win them regular belts, you don't see them being in unification matches, or really probably doing much, as my man 2K will tell you.
There's not even certain there's all of them, all the other three.
Yeah, right.
You have to be a super champion to unify.
You have to be a super champion, because otherwise it's not a unification match. It's just you fighting for that title. And if I'm an IBF champion or a WBO champion, WBC champion, I'm not putting up my belt and you ain't putting up shit.
Right.
See what I'm saying? I mean, of course, you can pay a person. We all know money can get by anything. Okay, we know that, right? We're just giving you guys what the rule layout is, because you got some motherfuckers out here running around, don't know what the fuck they talking about, spreading dumb shit about, why certain people drop belts and don't make fights. You know what I'm saying? So we got to give y'all the real over here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially on the Prodigy. This is the Prodigy. You know what I'm saying? I can get fucking funky and loose on this motherfucker right here.
Exactly. What you got for me? What you got next for me, Bo?
Man, Richard Commey is going to be pulling out the Lomachenko fight. Now, it goes to something that kind of got me. If you guys was at Three Kings, I said I didn't like his answer. When they asked him about that Lomachenko, he said,
right.
You know what I'm saying? He said, "Oh, let me talk to my team. I want to enjoy it." I didn't like the answer. So it might be.
Man, hold up, man. That's not what he sound like, bro. He sound like Michael Blackson. It didn't sound like that, bro. We was sitting ringside. He didn't sound like that. You made this motherfucker sound like a French dude. He sound like Michael Blackson, bro.
Why, man? But
I will see what my team has for me next, Marasaka.
I can't get jiggy with this shit. I can't get jiggy with this.
I can't get jiggy with this shit.
Oh man, the classics, baby, the classics.
Hell yeah.
But yeah. So turns out it might have been maybe he suffered an injury. Now I'm gonna be honest. This is me. I'm giving y'all how I feel. You first signed the paper saying, "Hey, whoever wins this will fight Lomachenko," and that was important because the WBA then said, "All right, cool. We will now allow a unification matchup," because they're trying to get out of fight mandatory Anthony Croyer. Because the bottom line is, ESPN is telling Top Rank, we are not paying no money for no shit like this. Okay,
Right.
All right. And on top of that, if it's Croyer, see what you guys have to understand. Like my man Tuki said, everything is about money. Okay, so you need an opponent. If you're trying to sell Lomachenko as a force, you need an opponent that's going to sell to the crowd. And when you have a Vasyl Lomachenko, you have to have him an opponent that is a believable opponent. And I'm sorry, but Anthony Croyer is not a believable opponent to sell for Vasyl Lomachenko over here in the U.S. because they want to make him the main card. So you can't make Vasyl Anthony Croyer the main card when nobody knows him over here in the U.S. Right? And damn sure ain't finna go to the fucking UK. Okay, so let's get that straight. So I'm questioning this whole injury thing, and it's not to question Commey, it's his team. I'm questioning the whole injury thing because you signed the paperwork to fight him. Then all of a sudden, I saw the fight. 2K saw the fight. Now it's not to say he didn't get injured. I didn't necessarily see something. He looked just fine. After the fight, after your adrenaline goes down, who knows what the fuck happens? I'm just saying the timing is kind of suspect to me, because now the WBA has reordered and changed the scheduling for the Vasyl Lomachenko thing. You win the title, and your team is probably like, hold on, dog. I know we signed the paperwork, but we all kind of like that check that we saw. So we want to see how many more checks can we get like this with you holding this belt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we know you good, but we like that check that we saw, and we just want to know we want to hold on to this a little bit longer, get the stock up, get your dollars up, make you look like a monster. Then you can go fight Lomachenko, for a little bit more, So I'm not talking about the fighter. I'm talking about his team.
Right.
And sometimes, as a fighter, you want to do the right thing, but when your team says certain things to you, and you listening, and then depending on who it is in that team, you listen like, you know what, maybe I'll give this a try.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I don't like to say that fighters, you know, typically like to pull Terry Flanagan and Frank Warren with that phantom leg injury. I always go back to that shit, bro. Always. Wait, who? I gotta fight who? Felix Verdejo. Hey, bro, tell him I'm injured, man. Tell him I'm injured. You know, fuck that. I didn't even go like that. He was like, wait, I gotta defend the lightweight title against Felix Verdejo, or I could go to junior welterweight and win that belt. Hey, tell him I'm injured, man. Tell him I'm injured. We go to junior welterweight. Yeah. That's what happened. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is like that. Me and Bo sat ringside. We covered this fight live at the Top Rank event. And it didn't seem like Richard Commey was injured by any means. He dusted off Issa Chaniev. I mean, it was easy work. You know what I'm saying? There was no reluctance at any point in the fight to throw a shot on either hand, regardless of which side is injured, right?
Yeah.
He was throwing bombs until he knocked him out. Now, he did say at the end, after the fight, that he did hurt his knuckle. He mentioned it right after the fight.
He did.
But it's just still a bit peculiar that he gets an injury all of a sudden after committing to fighting Vasyl Lomachenko if he becomes the IBF champion. Now, we know a lot about what goes on behind the scenes. This is a business.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? A lot of these fucking teams, they will get your ass backstage or, in a private setting of wherever you guys are at having a meeting, be like, hey, man, I know we said we was going to fight Vasyl Lomachenko, but think about it, fam. If we keep this belt and maybe make 2 or 3 title defenses, that's going to raise your stock. And when it raises your stock, the Vasyl Lomachenko fight becomes even more lucrative for us. You see what I'm saying? That is basic business 101. His advisor should have jumped all over that shit, and his manager. You see what I'm saying? So, listen, man, I'm not going to rule that out. I believe that may have happened. Or maybe he really is injured, right? But if he pulled the phantom injury thing, I wouldn't be surprised if it was because his manager and his advisor got into his head.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, like I said, this is a fucking business, man. So it makes sense. Honestly, I was actually telling Bo when we reported on this that I don't think he should fight Vasyl Lomachenko next. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? You just got the belt that you've been trying to get, that you felt you were robbed twice for. You finally got it. Now you're ready to get that motherfucker up. Because you ain't beating Vasyl Lomachenko.
See, that's that Oscar De La Hoya, David Lemieux thing. Well, Golovkin is barking at Canelo, so you have to sacrifice your belt you just won. And go out there get your ass beat.
Yeah, man, that's lamb to the or sheep to the slaughter. Lamb to the slaughter shit too. Anything you want to talk, any animal to the slaughter.
Yep.
Nigga raccoons, squirrels and shit, dog. Gerbils, anything, dog. So, it makes business sense for them to be like, nah, bro, hey man, this is what we gonna do, man. Basically, you're gonna knock your motherfucker out, right? And then right after that, right, we're gonna say, man, oh damn, got injured. Then when we do that, we're gonna pull right about this motherfucking Vasyl Lomachenko fight, and we're gonna go fight, Bozo the Weasel. That's what we're gonna fight next, bro. That's business, man.
Yeah. and you know what? He had a lot of supporters in that Texas crowd too.
He sure did. Oh yeah. I seen the flags and everything.
Man, did you see them in the good seats?
Yeah, in the good seats.
In the audience.
Them motherfuckers down there with us.
Yeah.
They was down there with press and shit.
Yeah, they was in the good seats. I'm like, whoa, god damn. It was about a good 20 or 30 of them. I said, man.
Yeah. So he's got a pretty big following, man. Or a pretty good following. I won't say big. But, him being a champion and them, going a different route and fighting a couple of guys and making Commey look very good in the next 2 or 3 fights, he's already got a fan base there that can definitely triple. You know what I'm saying? So Listen, man. That's what I'm saying. If I'm his manager, what's up?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. If I'm his manager, I'm like, hey, let's chill on that.
Agreed.
I agree on that. All right. So on to the next, Mr. Canelo.
Oh, you dirty dog.
Canelo. Hey, bro. Oscar De La Hoya got. They had one of them conversations again, bro. They had one of them. Hey, Canelo. Hey, man, you know we got to vacate the 168 pounds, eh? We're gonna have to vacate the title, eh? And fucking Canelo. I was gonna do it anyway. I was gonna vacate it anyway. I didn't want it anyway. I just wanted to say I was a champion at 168 at one point. That's all I wanted. So, in the news, Canelo vacates the WBA 168 pounds title. Right. Everybody knew that shit was gonna fucking happen. That's common sense, right? So he vacates. Well, let me say this: he beats the dust off of Rocky Fielding. What does this make him? A three-division champion? Because he was champion at 154, 160, and now 168. Now a lot of people are saying, "No, fuck that. He ain't no three-division champion. That was the WBO regular title, shun." Well, let me tell you this then. Manny Pacquiao ain't no 8-division champion then, because in one of them weight divisions, I believe it was junior welterweight, if I'm not mistaken, he only held the IBO title, and y'all are counting that.
He sure did.
So if y'all are counting him holding that IBO title, which is less prestigious of a title than the WBA regular, then you got to give Canelo his credit for getting that title at 168. So he's a 3-division champion. That's on y'all's rules. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people were calling him a bitch and a pussy and all that. You know, man, he deserves to be at 168. Why is he vacating the title? Listen, man, I have no problem with this. This is actually, in my opinion, a better move, because for him, he already has 2 of the 4 major sanctioning bodies wrapped around his waist. He only needs the other 2 to become undisputed. I am all for fighters becoming an undisputed champion if they have viable, or let me say not viable, they have competitive fights in their division, very competitive fights in their division that will get them to that undisputed crown, right? Mm-hmm. So he's getting ready to fight Daniel Jacobs, who has the IBF belt in May, right? That's a very competitive bout. And then the only other guy, if he beats Daniel Jacobs, the only other guy out there with a belt is Demetrius Andrade with the WBO. Both of them are with DAZN, right? So that fight can absolutely be made. And Demetrius Andrade has been trying to fight Canelo since 2014. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? We're talking 5 years he's been trying to fight Canelo. So that can definitely be made. So and that's also a very excellent competitive matchup. So I'm all for Canelo staying at 160 and trying to be undisputed because the matchups are great. What do you think about this, Bo?
I think if anybody been watching boxing, you saw this coming. Hence why he fought for the WBA regular title. Okay, because if you're serious, you fight the super dude in Callum Smith. But that wouldn't have been that wouldn't have been the spectacular DAZN debut that we saw in December.
Nah, he wouldn't have whooped his ass that match too. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay. So if that was your angle, then that's what you would have done. You would have fought for the super. Or let's say you didn't want to fight for the super. Okay, you know, no problem. You'd have gave Gilberto Ramirez a call because he was still holding the WBO at that belt at that time. You'd have took that fight. Oh, no, not that one. Probably not that one. All right. Okay, you know, we don't want that. Okay, you know what? I believe that WBC is vacant. Hey, one of you, one of you guys fighting for that belt. Hey, bump that dude out, put me in there. No, y'all don't want to do that. All right, cool, no problem. Hey, check this out. Jose Usteteca, fuck Caleb Plant. IBF Jamario Peoples. After that, I want that guy. I want Jose Usteteca or Caleb Plant, the winner. That's the route you would have taken if you were serious. Mm-hmm. So when they fought the WBA regular, we all should have known he's not sticking around there. And me and my man 2K talked about this, right? Those guys are bigger. They're extremely athletic at that division. You're talking Anthony Durrell. You're talking, even though there are some dudes I think he does beat these guys. It's just the fact that they still give him trouble. Hell, he could have even reached out to James DeGale and gave him that paycheck if that was the case.
Right?
but these guys were bigger. These guys, from an athletic standpoint, poses a problem. And if the thing was for Canelo to look spectacular while grabbing the belt, then the guy that he fought, who was Rocky Fielding, was the perfect thing. But I'm glad that he dropped it, because when you now what Golden Boy is saying is, we're not looking for an out, because if he's holding the belt at 168, you can use that as an out for him. You say, oh well, we can't make this fight because of this. You know, he got obligations up here 168. No. By dropping that belt, there's no longer an out now. Okay, so it clears that shit up, and we're not stuck trying to figure out what the next move going to be. And on top of that, let's just be honest, the better fights that all of us on this side of the pond, because those fights at 168 are good fights in the UK. That's not what they're looking for at the zone. They're trying to make an American splash. So they need the name that's going to attract that American, you know what I'm saying, that GDP. You know what I'm saying, baby?
Yeah.
You know
right.
They're trying to get that amount. I don't give a good goddamn what Eddie Hearns is saying, what Anthony Joshua about not fighting over here. Hey, y'all didn't see they didn't brought their ass around because that damn GDP is a motherfucker, goddamn.
Yeah.
Right?
No doubt.
Yeah, so you look at the middleweight division and you look at the fights could be made, and the money that you can make from them fights, it's only a smart thing. You still got Rob Brandt, you got Charlo, you got Golovkin. You know, you still teasing with David Lemieux, because David Lemieux is the number one challenger, is the number one guy at the WBA middleweight, okay? You got Billy Joe Saunders or the winner of him and Demetrius Andrade. So you still got some good fights. The Gennady Golovkin 3 is still the biggest fight there. So this is Golden Boy with Canelo saying, listen, man, we're not going to be fucking around here, and we want to maintain the splash that we made. Hence why they made the Daniel Jacobs fight. Because, again, as long as he holding that WBA super, that regular title, and let's just be honest, it's embarrassing for a cat like Canelo to be holding that regular title. I'm sorry, man. That shit is embarrassing. I mean, think about it. This is Canelo Alvarez, and Callum Smith can walk around and say, yo, son, you the little brother, I'm the big brother. Come on, man. Really, if you Canelo Alvarez, you want that? No. So I like this move. I think it's a good move, and I think it sends a clear-cut message that, you know, we're not fucking around, man. We're making the best fights at 160.
We don't fuck around, eh? That's basically what he said. Hey, that's what he said. But Bo did not intend. I know he did not intend to use that because Canelo used it. It worked perfectly. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, definitely it's a good move. And plus, think about it. He's looking at that Triple G fight, the third one. I strongly believe Triple G will be signing with DAZN, a $45 million offer for 3 fights. Definitely believe he'll be signing with DAZN. Real quick, who do you got? Don't break it down. Canelo versus Jacobs.
Canelo.
Yeah, absolutely Canelo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But before Triple G signed with that with DAZN, you know what I'm saying? Abel Sanchez is gonna be, you know, telling him, hey, listen, you know, we want this fight with DAZN. We want this fight with DAZN. But you got that Demetrius Andrade thing that has to come off the table.
Oh yeah. That's probably why they haven't signed yet.
Yeah.
We gotta fight Demetrius Andrade first. Get the fuck out of here with that. We're not fighting that killer. I'm Triple G. I'm 36 years old, motherfucker. I ain't about to get in the ring with that cat. You see what fuck he did with that? What was his name? Katandakwa? Y'all see what he did to him? I ain't getting in the ring with that motherfucker. Shit. Look, I'll fight. Look, the motherfucker said, listen, 3 fights, I'll rematch Daniel Gill. I'll bring Daniel Gill out of retirement, bring up Jeff Horn into 160, and then I'll fight Canelo. How about that?
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll fight Daniel Gill. I'll rematch David Lemieux in eliminator.
Oh, this is what we do. Y'all know we talk a lot of shit, man. No disrespect to Triple G. It's a good fight. Triple G still got a lot in him. I think Teddy Atlas says something about he needs to retire. I disagree with that. He's still a player at 160. Most definitely gives anybody that he fights trouble, and that includes Demetrius Andrade. So,
hey, you know what, man? Can I say something real quick?
What's up?
All right. You know, a lot of time people say a fighter retires because they think they show signs of slippage. Right. The reality is, if you watch boxing and you follow it and you look at it, like me and my man look at it, is The slippage that y'all think is slippage with Gennady Golovkin, that's not slippage. The motherfucker never moved his fucking head. It ain't slippage.
Never moved his head.
Motherfucking head.
Man, listen, man, nobody could last long enough to take advantage of that fact.
Right.
That was the problem.
Right, you know, and then him getting tired in there against Canelo Alvarez. Oh, he's slipping. No, he's not slipping. He finally was in a fucking hard-ass goddamn fight.
Right.
He finally was in some shit where everything about him got tested. So that's not slippage. That's just shit that we're finally seeing happen for him. Well, and a lot of time people say, oh, man, he was breathing heavy against Canelo. Yes, but did he fade? No. So what the fuck are you talking about then? You know what I'm saying?
But this is the thing, though, man. You could see a lot of his flaws in fights previous. The very first fight where I saw some major flaws, particularly him and his body, was against Willie Monroe Jr., right? Also his inside fighting in that fight. Those are two flaws that I noticed. Then you got Kell Brook, right? The uppercut was just amazing in that fight. I was like, damn, Canelo, that's one of his best punches. That's going to be a problem. That's actually when I said Canelo would beat Triple G, is when I saw the uppercuts that Kell Brook was landing on him at will. And then you got Vanez Martirosyan. Even though he, you know, ran over that cat, Vanez had moments in that fight. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, of course, Vanez was after the first fight with Canelo, but my point is there's fights that you can go look at in his past. Matter of fact, Kasim Uma's another one. Back in the day, he was just the WBA regular champion, I believe, at that time. Look at the Kasim Uma fight. I think he knocked Uma out in the 11th round. You can see it in that fight.
I'll give you a better one. Go watch when he fought Gabriel Rosado. Gabriel Rosado was having some serious moments.
Yeah, it's another one. You know, Gabriel Rosado blamed the fact that he was too small, but that motherfucker's fought at 160 previous to that, so fuck out of here with that. But the point is, like my man Bo just mentioned, there's a lot of fights out there that you can look at Triple G in his past and be like, yeah, you know, he had a lot of flaws, and if you really know what you're looking at, then you can tell that when he was going to fight Canelo, he was going to have problems. Whether you thought Triple G was robbed in both fights, he still had a problem with Canelo. He had problems.
Exactly.
All right, Bo, what you got for me next, bro?
Man, you know, it's a lot of things going on out there in the sport of boxing, man. So my man took one that I was going to hit. So since he want to go hard, you know what I'm saying? Like when you throw it right at me, I got to throw one right back and shit, you know? Gilberto Ramirez said bye-bye to the WBO, okay? Not only did he say bye-bye WBO, the motherfucker said bye-bye to his trainers. Hello, new weight division. Hello, a possible Kovalev fight. Now,
that came out of nowhere.
That came out of nowhere. I am someone who believes in the old saying, given my age.
And the coughing is because of the age, people.
Oh, motherfucker. You motherfucker. Nigga fucked up my out. So I'm a firm believer in the old saying, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Him leaving his train, the moving up in weight, I don't have a problem with. The vacating, I don't have a problem with. That what fighters do as you get older and you start to grow, it starts to become harder for you. One of the things about not like the low weight division where you're only talking about the difference between 4 pounds and maybe 3 pounds. You're talking the difference between 7. So as when you get up in the region wide, you go from 160, 168, then 160, 175, is because once you start getting up into that type of weight, your rehydration is always going to be higher because you're carrying a lot more water weight and a lot more, not that much body fat, but enough body fat and lean muscle and muscle mass. So all of that stuff will rehydrate the shit out of you. My man 2K could tell you that because he's into shit like that, right? So when you start getting older, it's not as easy as you think to keep that 7 pounds and them 10 pounds down off of you. So him going to 175, I'm not surprised by that because the fatigue and strain and lack of muscle and endurance you have when you trying to maintain weight, when your body is telling you, yo, man, this ain't your shit. Okay. Once he goes to 175, you probably will be stronger and better. My issue is you're leaving your trainers. These are people that knew you back when you was 12. These are people that know your ins, your outs, your quirks. They're people that made you world champion. Now you're going to roll the dice in your pursuit to go to a new division, a new division, possibly fight new champions, and you're going to lose all that. Okay.
Right.
And you're going to lose all that and leave your trainers who help you get there, that know your quirks, know how to push you, know how to motivate you, to try to get someone new while you're doing this new pursuit is a huge mistake. He should have like his second fight with Jesse Hart should have been with the new team. You don't go to a new division with the new team. You just don't, in my opinion, you don't do that. And then on top of that, it just kind of came out of nowhere. But at the same time, there's because it was supposedly amicable, maybe there's something he'll try it, see it doesn't work, then go back. We've seen that before. I just think that this is a mistake because you're doing too many things at one time. And because you're going to a new division. Now you don't have a fight, but you're going into a new division. So now you got to scout people. Then when you scout people, here's the thing a lot of y'all don't understand behind the scenes. You got to scout somebody. Then when you scout them, you got to look at what their training facility is. Do they hours work for you? Who they got training fighting? Well, who you gonna fight next? Do they know how to motivate me? Do they know how to talk to me? Well, we have a language barrier problem. Do they study motherfucking film? It's so much there. So
yeah. You know, what's crazy is, I mean, you mentioned the scouting and all of that, but I'm inclined to believe that he's trying to go directly for a Kovalev fight. And the reason I'm thinking that is because he vacated the fucking title. Now, two things. Number one, the WBO, and you saw this with Chris Algieri versus Manny Pacquiao. When Chris Algieri defeated what's his name, Ruslan Provodnikov at 140, he was the WBO champion. He wanted to fight Manny Pacquiao at 147, so he had to vacate his title in order to fight for Manny Pacquiao's version of the WBO title. Two, same person, Manny Pacquiao, but this case it was Tim Bradley who was moving up to fight him, right? So he had to vacate his WBO title. So it's the same kind of scenario here. He's vacating the WBO title because that organization is like, hey, well, if you want to go to light heavyweight, we'll give you an opportunity to become the mandatory for the WBO champion in that particular division, but you have to give up your version of the WBO title in order to do that. And he's already done it. See, he could have moved to 175 and had a fight there, still kept his WBO title, and then said, I'm moving down to 168 again. I don't like 175, and he'd still be champion, and he could, schedule a bout to defend that title again. I believe it would be his fifth title defense or his fourth. I can't remember. But he didn't do that. Now it could be just because what I said, or B, he understands that he'll never go back to 168. He's going to be in 175 for a certain amount of time. So he's like, well, I might as well give up the title because I believe it's like you have a year to defend that title before they talk about stripping you. So he probably was thinking like, well, shit, I don't plan on being at 168 for the next year. So I'm definitely going to 175 full-fledged, kind of like what Badu Jack did, right? Yep. Full-fledged 175 pounder. So that could have been the other option that he was thinking about. So either way, though, Kathy Duva came out. This, of course, was after we fucking interviewed her. She comes out and says that Gilberto Ramirez is a option for Kovalev's next fight.
No, she said his name in the interview. She said that in the interview.
Okay, good.
She said because she said Gilberto Ramirez. I heard he's moving
sure
up.
Did.
So, yeah,
She sure did. That's right. She did say that. Okay, never mind. We did get that. So she mentioned that he is an option for Kovalev next. So I'm thinking that there's already some type of negotiation going on. I'm not talking about they've already sat at the table and put numbers and crunched numbers. But I believe that Gilberto Ramirez understands that he's a possible next opponent for Sergey Kovalev at 175, so he vacated his title. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of with Bo on this. I think it's a bad move because I think he jumped the gun. Now, again, we don't know if he's actually struggling to make weight. We don't know. He might be. He's 27 years old. He turns 28 this year. He's kind of approaching that age where weight naturally starts to sit on you. 29, 30 is when it starts to sit on you. So I'm not exactly sure if, he's struggling to make weight and none of that. But if that's not the case, then I do believe it's a bad move because there's some killers at 168 where he could have made a bigger name than he already has for himself now.
Agreed.
Caleb Plant, my man Benavidez, David Benavidez. Even though he's not the champion right now because my man was sniffing the white girl and shit. You know, he fucking he is the champion in recess, which means when Anthony Durrell defeats Avni Yildirim, I believe in March, when he defeats him for the vacant WBC title, guess who's automatically the mandatory? It's going to be the champion in recess, David Benavidez. And he beats either one of those guys. If Avni Yildirim beats Durrell, if Durrell beats Yildirim, David Benavidez beats either one of them motherfuckers.
Agreed.
So he's definitely going to get his title back, right? And when he got his title back, I would have loved to see a fucking David Benavidez versus Gilberto Ramirez, because there's an open debate on whether which one of those two is the best 168 pounder. And then now Caleb Plant's name is thrown in there because of how he beat Jose Uzcategui. So there's some good fights at 168. And actually, him being there was making 168 one of the top divisions in the sport. But him leaving kind of drops it down to being a second tier division in the sport. You see what I'm saying? So if he's not struggling to make weight, then I think it's a bad move. If he is, then it's the best move for him. That's how I feel about this shit.
You know what this remind me of? This remind me of back when we were robbed of a James Toney and Bernard Hopkins matchup because Toney went up. We was robbed of that matchup. I think that if Toney and Roy Jones could just stayed around the middleweight division, we'd have had a plethora of matchups that was enjoyed by Sugar Ray, Aaron Pryor, Ducky Leonard was able to enjoy with Tommy Hearns and Roberto Duran. I think we was robbed of that. And this is what this feels like to me with Gilberto Ramirez and David Benavidez. But there was a build up to that. Right. And him going to light heavyweight, it makes me feel like, man, we're being robbed of probably the two best super middleweights that could have fought each other at that time. So, and then like you said, then now with the division getting hot, so let's see what happens, man. But on a side note, Jesse Hart did say he'll follow.
He sure did, man. He said that on Instagram, maybe like last month. I saw it. He was saying, I'm going to follow it. After the fight, he didn't say that. After the fight, because I believe Gilberto Ramirez was interviewed first, and he said, Gilberto Ramirez said, if I can't get big fights at 168, I'm going to 175. And then they interviewed Jesse Hart, and Hart was like, man, I ain't about to chase this motherfucker. I won this fight, right? But then a few weeks after that on Instagram, he's like, man, I'm about to chase this motherfucker. He had some time to go home and think about it.
And the sad part is he's actually still in line for the title.
Hey, he's number 2. He's a number 2 ranked fighter. I believe the vacant title will involve him and the number 1 ranked guy. I can't pronounce his name right now. Or I can't even think of his name right now, but it's a European guy. It'll probably be those two for the vacant title. Jesse Hart will more than likely win it. He'll become a champion finally. And it took Gilberto Ramirez moving out of the division for him to get that belt. So it is what it is. Let's move on to the next. And this one is kind of I talked about this fight, back when Prodigy Boxing Talk was really active. And I used to actually come on here and give y'all videos and shit. You know what I'm saying? I talked about a possible Rances Barthelemy versus Robert Easter Jr. fight, man, like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Well, right now the fight is in play. They're looking at April 27. And for me, it's like this. We already know who Bo is gonna pick.
Shit, I'm a surprise, y'all.
Yeah, right. I know. But my thing is this. Rances Barthelemy, I don't give a fuck what you think about him. He's one of the most talented fighters in boxing. Why do I say that? It's because he actually has the ability to be a masterclass boxer from the outside. The problem is his fucking IQ is below average. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Tell us how you really feel. Don't be so nice.
You seen that movie Unnecessary Roughness, Bo?
Yes, I have.
Remember that big ass linebacker? That nigga was a beast on the field, just fucking everybody up. At the end of the movie, ended up getting an ACL tear and shit. And it fucked up his scholarship. And it was sad because off the field, he was the dumbest motherfucker on the block, right?
Yes.
When he was in the team meetings, they were like, all right, what is the man supposed to do? He answers shit immediately. Oh, that man's supposed to run right, da-da-da-da. Oh, that man's supposed to do da-da-da-da. Everybody's looking at him like, God damn, he's a fucking genius when it comes to the playbook. But then when they was like, hey, man, what's 2 + 2? This nigga was like, 8. You know what what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's Rances Barthelemy, bro. He's dumb as fuck when it comes to his IQ, but he's very talented when it comes to his skills and abilities, physical skills and abilities, right? So my thing is this, and I said this earlier, man, without breaking this fight down. I said this fight is going to come down to which Rances Barthelemy we get. If we get the Rances Barthelemy that dominated Argenis Mendez twice, by the way, right? First time whooped his ass, and they were like, "Hey, you knocked him out after the bell. Run it back." Okay, they ran it back and he shot him over like 12 rounds or something like that, right?
Yep.
If we get that Rances fighting Robert Easter Jr., this is a hell of a fucking fight. And I'm damn near going to lean towards Rances Barthelemy, bro. He's the more talented fighter, in my opinion. But if we get the Rances that fought Kiro Relic, this is easy work for Robert Easter Jr. And the crazy thing about boxing is a sport of, what do I like to say? What have you done lately? Janet Jackson. You know what I'm saying? What have you done for me lately? Ding, 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 ding. This is what boxing is. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that lately Rances Barthelemy has been looking like shit, I'm inclined to believe he's going to look like shit against Robert Easter Jr. But I hope to God, and he's made some changes within his camp. He's brought in his younger brother, Yan Barthelemy, and he's brought in Joel Casamayor.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So he's making some changes. He's trying to get support from his people to bring him out of this dark hole that he's currently in as a fighter. And I hope it works out for him, because this could be a very good fight if he comes to fight the way that we know he can fight. What do you think about this, Bo?
This is the fight of the stupids. Okay.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry, man. And listen, Rance is my boy, and he knows this. Here's the problem, right? The Rances, now, you said he made some changes because Rance just recently had a fight where he knocked the guy out, right? After the Canelo, we saw some things. Here's the problem that you have is you have two fighters that their basic attribute they don't use. Now, Rance used to use it. For whatever reason, he stopped. He wanted to be more of a stationary fight. He wanted to try to be an inside fight. He wanted to, instead of boxing and doing what was boxing for him, he wanted to show that, oh, I can stand and actually fight and punch. And the reason being was he let it get into his head when they was talking to Rigo, calling him a boring fighter and Laura a boring fighter. He got to the head, well, I don't want to be considered a boring fighter. But what he forgot was you still need to fucking win. You need to win. Let them say that. Sometimes you have to win and look good in your next fight, right? So he forgot that. Now, Robert Easter Jr. never even knew to use that shit. So that's the problem. Robert Easter Jr. didn't know to use it. We saw him try against Mikey. What happened? He all of a sudden he abandoned and reverted back to his old self, right? So, in my honest opinion, to me this fight's come down to, believe it or not, ring intelligence. And even though Rances Barthelemy ring intelligence can come into question, Robert Easter Jr. ring intelligence has been missing all the goddamn time throughout his whole fucking career. I'm sorry. It's been missing all the time. I don't know if it's that Midwest negative 40-degree fucking cold or what, but it's been missing all the time. So Rance could have the upper hand here, even though he's been looking like shit, because he's just a tad bit smarter than Robert Easter, who fighters who look like shit have their best fights against. Why? Because Easter lets you into the fight.
Absolutely. So
it's a good fight, it's a good matchup, but this is one of them fights where this remind me of if you lay $1 on the table and you lay your wallet on the table and you ask your son, you say, yo man, you can have whatever piece of money you want off the table. And he grabbed $1 and run, you beat his ass. The fuck is wrong with you? Okay, but you ask, your son could be 10. Now you ask your 5-year-old daughter, you can have any piece of money on the table, and she grab it, she gonna be all right for the rest of her life because she knows the value. So this just comes down to which person is gonna realize the quickest and the fastest what can work for them. Because the one thing about Rances, I'll say, is he does make adjustments faster than Robert Easter. That's not saying much, to be honest with y'all. But he does make adjustments faster than Robert Easter, and he does make them better than Robert Easter. So the only reason why I would go with Rance is because Robert Easter is the type of cat that you could look like shit and look good against him, because this is how he fights.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, think about it too. If both of them, because shout out to my man, I don't know, this motherfucker got 17 names, man. There's Boo, Georgie, and he got another name named Chris. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I swear to God, I'm not lying to you, fam. This motherfucker got like 72 profiles and shit, man. But shout out to him and all his aliases. You know what I'm saying? He hit me up earlier today. He said, yo, you were the cat that said on Prodigy that Rances is Robert Easter Jr. 2.0. And he was talking from a year back. Mm-hmm. Now, half the show, I don't even remember what the fuck I be saying, man. But people hit me up that listen to Prodigy. They be like, man, you said this. I'm like, I did? Yeah, I did say that. You know what I'm saying? But though I don't remember saying that, I could see why I did say that, because they're very similar fighters, right? They both give up their height and reach. As Bo mentioned, it's the battle of the stupids. They both get up their height and reach. They both give up what they're good at to do what they're not so good at to try to win a fight, right? Robert Easter Jr., I can't remember. The first time I started seeing him give up his height and reach was the fight before Richard Commey. It was a Hispanic cat. I can't remember his name, but he gave up his height and reach in that fight, and he was just a regular dude. I wouldn't say he was a journeyman, but he wasn't a contender either. You know what I'm saying? But he was tagging the shit out of Easter. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get this cat out of here, right? And then, of course, against Commey, he gave up all types of height and reach advantage, right? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then when it came to Rances Barthelemy, the first time I saw him do that was against Denis Shakur. Yes. And I remember, bro, I'm yelling at my team. What the fuck are you doing?
Dude, yelling.
Yelling at my TV. You're spitting all over the TV and shit, bro. I had to wipe that motherfucker down at the end of the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was that bad, man. Like, what the fuck are you doing? This is Denis Shakur. He fights one way, boxed from the outside, right? So ever since then, Rances has been doing that shit. So if we got these two dumb motherfuckers in the ring giving up their height and reach, it might actually be a great fight again, because they both go sitting in the pocket throwing bombs, doing what they shouldn't be doing. But it still will make for a good fight. But I'd rather see both of these guys do stick to the advantages that they're good at, right? And give me a fight like that. Because then I could say these guys will actually be players at 135 pounds. Actually, I would say even to the loser, if it's a good fight and they actually both fought to the best of their advantages, I would say even the loser is still a player at 135, given the dimensions of that particular fighter. Correct. You see what I'm saying? So, man, this could be the making of a very good fight. I hope it's still in play. I don't think it's made just yet, but I hope Rances comes to this fight with the right head on his shoulders. You know what I'm saying? And Robert Easter Jr., I still think it's a good fight, whether or not he comes in there with his right head on the shoulder.
Well, I question him coming in with the right head on the shoulders because I know people saying that he left and went with Joel Casamayor. Now, Joel Casamayor as a fighter, never fought tall.
I know where you're going. Good point. Yeah, good point, man. He was always mid-range distance.
Mid-range distance fighter. Yeah. And what Rances Barthelemy needs is someone that's going to teach him how to fight tall. Use his reach, use all of that. But I will say, I think from a standpoint with Joel Casamayor is that ability to push you. Because, I mean, let's just keep it a buck. Sometimes fighters will take things more when it comes from somebody that's actually been in that battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not to knock on anybody, but I can sit and tell you guys that I would take things more from the Prodigy about correcting me in something from boxing, or we talking boxing, than a cat that, you know, that ain't never even smelled the goddamn dirty towels from the fucking gym.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know? So and that's just, I mean, that's just how it is. Like, I've served in the military, okay? So if you want to, you know, talk to me, ask me questions about my military service, fine. But if you want to actually have a question about the military and you ain't never been in, push the fuck on, you know?
Right.
You
Exactly.
feel me? So I think that he might take it better because Casamayo has been through that fire. Also feel I think Rance was trying to do a little bit too much because he was trying to be the first Cuban to ever grab 3 titles.
Yeah, he was.
I think he was doing too much. So this could be a good move and be a damn good fight, in my honest opinion.
All right, let's move on to the next.
No, man, I'm reading.
You know what?
Comment? You see that comment?
What comment? What we got? Oh yeah. Yeah. Hey, he's right, man. He's right. He's right. And you know, those actually, before we go on to the next, those 2 guys are fighters where if I were training those motherfuckers, man, I would be pissed off every single day. You know what I'm saying? And then before fights, I'd be like, man, God, please let this motherfucker see the light. You know what I'm saying? Before every fight, please, man, just let this motherfucker see the light, man. You know what I'm saying? That made no sense, man. Bo, what you got for me next, man?
The WBO president has said to Bob Arum, fuck your money, fuck your prestige. Iota ain't fighting no goddamn Jamal Herring because he ain't in our ranking system, goddamn it. Okay, so you know what I'm saying? They didn't grease them palms good enough. No, I'm just playing with y'all. Oh, don't be saying about Arum. Yeah, fuck out of here, man.
Well, Bo took a picture with Arum. He loves Arum. We got that. We got that picture, fam. Go to Facebook, facebook.com/3 Kings Boxing. We'll go ahead and post that picture up on 3 Kings Boxing Facebook page. Mr. Bo and Bob Arum, they're hugging. Bo was cheesing very, very well. I mean,
all right. So now that we have 2K, oh man, unmute yourself, Prodigy.
Motherfucker. You see, that's what happens when you monitoring different shit. Got cats doing shit in the background. Like I said, Bo, this is the greatest day of his life when he took that picture.
You know what, though? It was a sight to see 84-year-old Arum moving around like that, still talking to people and meeting people out of the crowd. That was definitely a sight to see. That's no good doubt.
Arum, listen, man. We got a lot of reserves about Arum. A lot of fans have a lot of reserves about Arum. Yeah. But I mean, he was actually pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Bo asked to take the picture. I told him to do it because we wanted to do the interview. Bo didn't want to do the interview, so he said, "I'll take the picture." It was like, bet. So Bo asked him to take the picture. Bob Arum immediately, yeah, sure. I mean, it wasn't no, you motherfuckers. Wasn't
right. You know
what I'm saying? Yeah, sure. So, you know, he's pretty decent. He's decent in my book for right now. Now, we catch him at some other events in different moods. We'll gauge that later. But, you know, he was cool at this event. But, you know, the situation here is Bob Arum went on Twitter right after Masayuki Ito's first title defense over in Japan. And he immediately went on Twitter and was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't give a fuck about no rankings or nothing like that, but Jamel Herring about to fight this motherfucker next. So, and it came directly out of Bob Arum's fingertips. You know what I'm saying? On Twitter. Right? So, you know, this was right after, like I said, right after the first title defense. The WBO president, Francisco Varcasel, probably saying his name wrong, but that's fine. He goes by Paco. He had nothing to say at that point in time. The only thing he said was congratulations to Masayuki Ito. But a few days ago, he came out and said, hold on. What's all this shit I'm hearing about Jamel Herring being the next fighter, the next opponent for Masayuki Ito? Because Jamel Herring went on his Twitter and was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? May 25th, dog. We about to get it in. He was happy to the motherfucker, right? And Paco came and Dikembe Mutombo that shit.
He sure did.
The shit out of that statement. Like, hold up, bro. You ain't fighting no Masayuki Ito. Where in the fuck in my rankings from 1 to 15 do you lie?
No.
Like, bro, you ain't on this list. You know, listen, man. The Jamel Herring tried to get in the club, and Paco was at the front door. And Jamel Herring was like, excuse me. He was like, hold up, nigga. Where the fuck you think you're going? And he let his girl in and shit, but he ain't let Jamel Herring in.
Oh, that's fucked up. Yo, hold on. Time out. Prodigy, are you telling us a personal story? Is this a personal
hell
story?
no. Hey, you already know I was a bouncer at multiple clubs. I was the motherfucker not letting Jamel Herring in.
No. That's what I'm saying. Are you
Yeah. I done that a couple times. I done that a couple times. Hey, if I seen a cat roll up and he looked like a chump and his girl was bad as hell, yeah, I done that. I'll admit that.
Better go ahead and get a phone number.
You know what I'm saying? Give her ass a drink pass. You drink for free all night. You know what I'm saying? But nah, real talk though. They blocked the shit out of this fight, and rightfully so. And Jamel Herring was a good sport about it. He went on Twitter right after he got his dunk blocked. He went on Twitter and was like, "Yeah, you know, they doing the right thing." He said that. So ultimately, what's gonna have to happen is Jamel Herring's gonna have to take a couple more fights, get himself some type of presence in the rankings, and then he can revisit this. Now, there was some confusion out there. I had a couple cats hit me up after we reported this, and they were like, well, you know, what's the deal with Ito not being able to make a voluntary defense? He fought as mandatory last time. Why can't he make a voluntary defense? Well, the problem is, and this is all 4 major sanctioning bodies, it's not just the WBO. When you're the champion, you have to fight somebody that's ranked in their rankings. The WBO is the top 15. I believe the IBF is the same. The WBA is also the same. And I think the WBC is the top 10, or it could be the top 15 as well. But let's just say it's the top 15. You got to be on that list. Now, the WBC has a long-ass list. They go down to like 30, you know what I mean? But the rest of them, they only show like the top 15. You got to be on that list for you to make a voluntary defense against any one of those, or you got to fight another champion. Of course, these sanctioning bodies do not rank other champions. They're not supposed to. So if you're doing a unification, they will allow that. If it's not a unification, it's got to be somebody who's ranked in that particular organization's rankings. And that's the difference here. So no knock on the WBO. They did the right thing. They're going by the rules. You know, you don't really see many sanctioning bodies going by the rules like they're supposed to. And they did in this situation. So Ito is going to have to fight somebody who's in the top 15. And that's point blank and period. Is what it is. All right.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Woo. Fuckery report. Let me tell y'all something.
Okay.
The WBO is the same organization that allowed Canelo Alvarez to jump over every motherfucking body.
That's true.
And be ranked number goddamn 1. Matter of fact, they had to be taken to court by the motherfucker that was number 1 until we found out he had RICO bullshit going on in his goddamn life. But the motherfucker that was number 1 had to take that shit to court. Like, well, what the fuck is this? Yeah. What type of shit is this, right? Okay. Yeah. So, you know, that's a little fuckery on their part. Now, what this does do is, and I understand what Top Rank tried to do was, what this does do is to put them in a little bit of a pickle, because the zone can jump in and say, hey, Ito, we got Ryan Garcia, we got Lamont Rose Jr., who's ranked number 1 and 2. We got them over here. We got, you know what I'm saying? We got, you know what I'm saying? We you know what I'm saying? No, I might be able to work some out with Scott Quigg. Okay, or
I better work some out with Tevin Farmer.
Or Top Rank can come back and say, well, Jason Sosa's ranked in there. He can make a voucher to defense Jason Sosa. He just won. Put that on ESPN. So there's still some maneuvering room. But I just wanted to throw out that fuckery about the WBO when, like, y'all the same motherfucker that tried to shaft my man to fight Billy Joe Saunders with Canelo. So
good point. Very good point. WBC does the same shit.
Yeah.
I made an example. A lot of people were talking about, you know, the Jarrell Miller Anthony Joshua fight. Which Three Kings is probably the second source behind a UK source to break that damn shit. We broke it so early, motherfuckers didn't believe us until the shit came out. So stick around with threekingsboxing.com. We have good sources. We give a lot of good information. We ain't been wrong about shit yet. But when we talked about that fight, a lot of cats was like, I told cats, I said, the IBF might be a problem with making that fight. I think it gets made. I told cats that Anthony Joshua was fighting Jarrell Miller next, right after he beat Alexander Povetkin. I've been saying that since September of last year. I've been saying this, right? So I told cats, I said, but the IBF might be a problem because Jarrell Miller's not ranked in the IBF. And I gave them an example of how the IBF could rank Jarrell Miller with what they did with Chris Arreola when he fought Deontay Wilder.
Ooh.
Now, Deontay Wilder was supposed to fight Alexander Povetkin. And, of course, all that shit happened. And he needed an opponent. Well, they took Carlos Takam out of the rankings and inserted Chris Arreola. Now, Chris Arreola, his last fight was a draw, I believe, with Travis Kaufman. And he had a loss before that, I believe, against Bermain Stavern, if I'm not mistaken. So his last two fights were not wins, but they put him at rank number 9 in the rankings, so that allowed Deontay Wilder to fight him instead of Alexander Povetkin. You know, the same situation, you know, could happen here. The same situation could happen with Jarrell Miller. I don't know how the IBF is going to handle that. Apparently the deal's done, but I haven't heard anything about how the IBF is going to, if they're going to sanction it, if they're not going to sanction the fight. I don't know. But the thing is, there's a lot of corruption with a lot of these major sanctioning bodies where they will insert a fighter, just like my man said about the WBO and Canelo. The WBC did it with Canelo before he was actually reinstated from his suspension. They said, all right, we'll go ahead and cut your suspension time and make you the #1 contender for the WBC title. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of corruption behind the scenes where these sanctioning bodies, if they really want fights made, they will make it happen. But apparently Paco ain't trying to see no damn Jamel Herring versus Masayuki Ito, or Masayuki Ito just doesn't have that big of star power for him to actually want to sanction that bout. So
I agree with that.
It is what it is. All right. Let's move on to the next one. This might be the last one, now that I think about it. And rightfully so. This shit whack, man. Maurice Hooker returns to the yeah, I know. Maurice Hooker returns to the ring against some cat with a French name from Baltimore. How the fuck does that happen?
No shit.
I was looking at his box rank. I was like, all right, I expect to see this motherfucker from France.
Baltimore.
This motherfucker from Trinidad and Tobago. But he got to Baltimore. I believe he moved there when he was 6 and was raised there. I think that's him. Or he's either Baltimore or Brooklyn, man. I might be getting the motherfucker mixed up with somebody else. Now I gotta look the motherfucker up.
Yeah, no shit. I'm doing
you know what I'm saying?
Right as we speak.
I might be getting them mixed up with somebody else, man. Let me fact check myself real quick. Yeah. I had it right. It's not Baltimore, it's Brooklyn. So okay, he was born in Trinidad. He moved to Brooklyn when he was 6. You know what I'm saying? So the motherfucker got French name, but he's from Brooklyn. And that's who Maurice Hooker's fighting. Now the thing is, Mikkel LesPierre is his name. He's actually got a good background behind him. You know what I'm saying? I believe he trains with what's my guy's name? Don Saxby out at Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, which is a very popular gym out in the Brooklyn area. A lot of people know Gleason's Gym out there. Mm-hmm. So that's where he's fighting out of. But the problem is, regardless of that'll give him a little bit of credibility, but regardless of that, he ain't fought nobody. His resume speaks for itself. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think he's ranked number 14 by the WBO. You know what I mean? So, listen, man. I wouldn't have a problem with this if that bad motherfucker that used to be Floyd Mayweather's sparring partner wasn't available. And that's my man, Jack Catterall.
Jack Catterall. I know where you're going with that.
Jack Catterall is the #1 contender for the WBO at junior welterweight. And he's available. And he's been talking. Matter of fact, when I made I think I wrote it, Bo might have wrote it, I don't remember, one of us wrote it. We talked about the possibility of opponents for Maurice Hooker when we reported his comeback date. And of course, we mentioned in the article, fucking Jack Catterall.
That was you.
That was me. Okay. Well, when I put that out there, Jack Catterall immediately retweeted that because he wants to fight Maurice Hooker. There was a press release with him talking about how he wants to fight Maurice Hooker, how he wants a title fight sometime this year. Jack Catterall is a very good fighter. You see what he did to O'Hara Davies? You know what I'm saying? It's been reported that, you know, he was an excellent sparring partner for Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gave Floyd Mayweather good work. Jack Catterall is a beast, man. So I think the problem here is this, and this is the politics of boxing. Maurice Hooker's with Eddie Hearn. Jack Catterall's with Frank Warren. I really don't need to go any further than that. That's the problem. And that's why the WBO didn't even order this fight to happen. They didn't even order it. Nor do they mind Maurice Hooker looking elsewhere, because it's going to be hard to bring those two guys together to do a deal.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, and it fucking sucks. And that's the problem with the politics of boxing. This is an excellent matchup. I favor Jack Catterall in it, but it's an excellent matchup. One that I would like to see. But you're going to limit Jack Catterall's ability to become world champion because of some stupid ass promotional beef. You see what I'm saying? And the WBO should have put their foot on the table and said, man, fuck that. We ordering this fight, dog. Jack Catterall's available. Maurice Hooker's available. Let's get this fight made. They could have fought. I mean, Maurice Hooker's fighting this French nigga from Brooklyn March 9th. But he was available to make a fight with Jack Catterall possibly in May. That could have happened. Right? Could have happened in April. They're both ready. So, I don't know, man. That's what the politics of boxing brings, man. What you think about this fighter with the cat from Paris?
Well, what you got going on is a game of chess.
Right.
Between Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Because immediately, now, something else that we talked about on Three Kings Boxing, and if you actually read it, I actually touched upon this. There's a fight taking place at the featherweight division that immediately, when a Eddie Hearn fighter became the Mando to fight that Frank Warren fighter, they're like, no, fuck negotiation, immediate purse bid, fuck negotiation, immediate purse bid. Okay, so now Frank Warren is looking at, because Kid Galahad is fucking good. Okay,
yeah, man.
So Frank Warren is looking at this, right? Like, damn, I could fucking around and lose my title. And Eddie Hearn is looking at this like, if Kid Galahad win, Frank Warren is at my motherfucking mercy now when it comes to Jack Catterall.
Good point.
Okay. Good and point. Not to mention that Warrington used to be with Hearn, left and went to Warren. Yeah, and then Galahad used to be with Warren and went to Eddie Hearn.
I went to Hearn.
Okay, so this is a game of chess. So I'm looking at this like, you're right. He could have fought Jack Catterall. But by him being with the zone, they want to potentially set up a fight between Maurice Hooker and Jose Ramirez. So you don't want to fight a Jack Catterall to upset the apple cart, because Jose Ramirez is fighting Jose Zepeda. So to keep Hooker and Ramirez, because remember, that was the enticing thing for Hooker that brought him out of the WBSS tournament, was a possible unification matchup with Jose Ramirez. To which ESPN thought, oh man, we're going to get Hooker because we gave him the highest payday of his career when he fought Alex Ucedo.
Right.
But then Eddie Hearn swooped in and said, listen here, mate. You come over here to the zone. You can keep your promotional thing with Rock Nation, and we can make moves with you, mate. We can make you famous. We can get you some money. We can get you unifications. It's not a problem, mate. Okay? Mm-hmm. So Eddie is playing chess now over here, and Frank Warren is playing chess with him, and then caught in between that is possibly ESPN reaping benefits if you get a unification matchup with Maurice Hooker and Jose Ramirez that could be shown on both ESPN here in the United States and DAZN world fucking wide.
Right.
See?
Right.
So that's what you have going on. So you're right about the politics, but it's the politics working in a way that could still benefit all of us. But I do agree that that the WBO could have made that Jack Catterall fight. But I'm not surprised that they didn't, because for a very long time, Manny Pacquiao was able to pick his opponents with the WBO.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a very long time, he was able to do that. Pick whoever gonna fight. Yeah. Who's number one? No, I ain't fighting that motherfucker. I mean, think about it. Lomachenko, there wasn't, when he won that belt, there wasn't even a mandatory for him to fight when he won that belt off of Jose Pedraza. You know what I'm saying? So the WBO is very laxed about their mandatories.
And that's what I was getting ready to say. And that's where the difference is in the analogy you made with Warrington and Galahad and this
because that's for the IBF.
Because that's for the IBF.
Yeah,
they're much more strict.
Yeah.
Well, and also, but this is the thing. They granted Warrington an exception so he could fight Carl Frampton.
Mm-hmm.
And then Warrington said, hey, dog, let me get another exception. Like, like them crackheads. Hey, bro, let me get $5, nigga. Let me get $5. That's what he did.
I'm drinking water, man.
That's what he did.
It was like that. I'm drinking water.
It was, look, the IBF gave this motherfucker $10. He went and bought a cheeseburger, came back a couple months later and wanted $5 more. IBF was like, nah, bro, we're not giving you that. You're going to have to eat this damn dog food. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what happened. So the IBF was like, no exception, motherfucker. You got to fight Kid Galahad.
Yep.
The WBO could have done that, man. You know what I'm saying? I agree with what you're saying. From a business perspective, you're trying to get the Jose Ramirez fight. Well, hell, so is Regis Prograis. So who is Jose Ramirez really going to be trying to fight? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Also, you're talking about featuring on DAZN. Jose Ramirez with ESPN, being with Top Rank. So that fight might be a little harder to make. Regis Prograis isn't bound by anybody. He can move.
No, he's not.
His own ESPN, anywhere he want to go. So I see what you're saying, but I don't know if that fight is even too much of a reality right now, especially with DAZN saying, hey, for the big fights, we only looking to make the fights on DAZN exclusive to DAZN. You see what I'm saying? To DAZN fighters. So they're not trying to share network profits right now, which I agree with. Until they get comfortable enough with the revenue that they're making, that's when they can say, okay, we'll do, co-network deals and shit, But right now, they do need to keep it all in-house.
I agree with that.
So, I mean, listen, man, I don't know, man. I still feel that should have been the fight to make. And then you try to make a move on Jack Catterall after that. Like, hey, man, look, and you don't have to, he doesn't necessarily have to be with you, Frank Warren or Matchroom. He could be with DAZN. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not sure about Frank Warren's sentiments about working with DAZN. Eddie Hearn is a part of the boxing department, or in charge of the boxing department on DAZN, but DAZN is still a whole different entity than Matchroom Sport. So I don't know how he feels about that, but I would have tried to make that move on Jack Catterall. He's a better fighter than Maurice Hooker, in my opinion. But it's a business move, so it is what it is, man. All right. That's going to conclude this podcast, man. I'm about to restart this bitch, man. I said episode 6. This is about to be episode 1. You know what I'm saying? This is about to be episode 1.
I'm telling you, dog.
We got shit all around. Blog Talk Radio, Truth and Facts Sports Talk. We got shit just sitting on Facebook. This is going to be episode 1, though. Y'all go back and check all that other shit. This is just going to be episode 1 straight up. Shit. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody who's affiliated with Three Kings Boxing, affiliated with the movement, all of our writers. My man Bo, head of public relations and senior writer. My man Jarrell Fletcher, lead journalist. We got Corey Cunningham, my man Michael Wilson, who's also a writer and host of Pound for Pound Boxing Report. He's in the chat. We got my man Blake Whitehead, who's been a guy that's been supporting us from the beginning, shares everything that we do. And then we got my man Tanner Gill. He is a new writer for us. Also, shout out to our affiliates, Pep Talk UK and Boxing Broadcast. Also, World Fight Camp, the WFC. All right, go ahead and
get somebody, man.
Who did I forget? I didn't forget nobody.
Cecil.
I didn't forget nobody.
Cecil.
I didn't forget nobody. I didn't forget nobody. He's on standby. When he gets off standby, he gets mentioned. That's real talk, man. Shit.
Shout out to Red, though.
Oh, yeah, my man Red. I did forget about my man Red, the other editor. Absolutely. Shout out to my man Red. Very essential to the business. All right. But also go to threekingsboxing.com to get the latest and greatest in boxing news and information, as well as interviews. Also, check out Twitter at Three Kings Boxing. Follow us there. Instagram at Three Kings Boxing. Facebook.com/ Three Kings Boxing. That's where we really popping. We got over 30,000 followers over there in just a year being up. So we really popping over there. Also, if you can, hit us up on the website. Check out that donate button, man. We got our authors over there putting their blood, sweat, and tears every day and trying to get you content. This is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week operation. I myself spends about 12 plus hours working 3kingsboxing.com so we can make this one of the best news and information websites out there. So go ahead and donate a penny, 5 cents, 10 cents, 50 cents, $1. Anything helps, and we absolutely appreciate it. As you can see, we are making moves. We was out there at the top rank event, Sergey Kovalev versus Elita Alvarez. We've interviewed Max Kellerman. We out there. Fight Hype has used some of our snippets in terms of the questions we've asked. Shout out to them. Appreciate them for that. I mean, we out there, man. So after this year, it's gonna be even better. We ain't never gonna stop this shit. We got a chip on our shoulder. Let's put it that way.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, and this is dedicated to those out there that's tried to stop us, or think you could stop us, or think, you know, your comings and going matter. We ain't going nowhere.
Absolutely
we ain't
not.
Going nowhere.
Absolutely not.
We can't be stopped now.
Nah.
We some down motherfuckers for life.
See, I would quote that, but I can't do that. But I can't do that, man. But appreciate everybody in the chat. Look for us on this channel. No longer Blog Talk Radio, on this channel every Monday and Thursday. This will also keep my channel active. So everybody who's been hitting me up over the last 6-7 months, man, where you been at, Prodigy? Where you been at? Every Monday, Thursday, 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central, 6:30 Pacific. We will be here every Monday and Thursday. So look for us there. Also, in between there, I will be uploading videos talking about different things that we report on 3kingsboxing.com. All right, that's going to conclude this podcast, and we out.